Here's something most people never realize. Excellence is not about perfection. Excellence is simply you doing your best in whatever you do. So it could be leading a company, it could be raising a child, it could be volunteering at a local organization. Excellence is you putting your best foot forward. Because the truth is, excellence makes you exceptional. Excellence helps you stand out from the crowd. In the midst of noise, excellence is the one thing that can single you out. It's amazing because you can apply excellence to everything that you do. And you don't need more talent, you don't need more luck, you don't need more privilege. All you need is intention, effort, and preparation. That's what we're talking about today, what excellence really means and practical steps to making sure that we're living it out every single day. Let's get into it. Did you know that over 70% of you who watch this podcast are not subscribed? Some people have even told me they were shocked when they realized they were not subscribed yet. So if you're enjoying this and you're back for more, I would love for you to take 2 seconds and hit the subscribe button. It's completely free, and honestly, it's the best way for you to support all that we're building here at the Many Roads. So do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, join our community, and let's keep growing together. Welcome to the Many Roads podcast. I'm your host, Oba Okusanya, and I'm excited to have you here with me, listening, watching. Let's get started this way. Story time, right? Who doesn't love a good story? Everybody loves a good story. A couple of weeks back, I had to travel, and I had a quite early flight, and I needed to book an Uber from where I was to the airport, and this is like at like 4 a.m., right? So, I'm ready, I'm waiting, like get ready, whatever, grab my stuff, call the Uber, request the Uber rather. I request the Uber, I see the guy is literally 4 minutes away. I'm like, oh, perfect. So I request it, I see he accepts it, and he's just sitting there. Nothing. Like he's not moving. I, at this point, I'm freaking out because I'm like, hey, you accepted the ride. So if I cancel the ride, I get charged, but you're not moving. So, and Uber has this feature where you can text the driver. So I text him, I'm like, hey, are you coming? Right? And he goes, yes, I'm on my way. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Hey, it's quite early in the morning. Maybe he's whatever. Maybe something is going on with him. I don't like to stress people because I don't like to get stressed either. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give the guy 5 minutes. Right. So this is now 10 minutes after calling the Uber, after requesting the ride, and he's still on his way. So I send him another message because I still see he's not moving. So I send him another message. I'm like, hey, I can't be late. Are you coming? Like, let me know what's going on. And then he's like, oh, I'll be there soon. But I'm looking at the thing, like, you're not moving, right? Long story short, he arrives almost 20 minutes after I actually made the request. He pulls up, I get in the car, and intentionally, I didn't say a word because I was hoping that he would be like, hey, I'm so sorry. You requested this ride 20 minutes ago. I was late, blah, blah, blah. Or at least just say something, like good customer service. And then we can pick up the conversation from there because I was obviously pissed. I was mad. I was angry already because I'm like, I have a flight to catch. I'm not trying to miss my flight. This is a paid service. You're not doing me a favor. Like, yeah, you're not doing me. This is a paid service. You're not doing me a favor. And I got in the car. I put my luggage in the trunk, got in the car, and crickets. This guy said not a single word to me. He didn't even say good morning. Not a single word. At that point, I'm like, okay, wow. And I'm going to leave out the ethnicity or the race of this person out of the story because I don't want that to be the focus. Right. So at that point, there was so many questions running through my head because in my head, I'm like, you're offering a service to somebody. You show up late. There's no apology. You don't even greet the person good morning. So we start driving to the airport. To make matters worse, while we're driving to the airport, he starts playing music so loud. Like, guys, this is about like 4:30 a.m. Like, just like he starts playing loud music and singing along, and it was gospel music too. I shouldn't have said that. And then, to even make matters even much more worse, he took a wrong turn. So we're about 5 minutes away from the airport. He took a wrong turn. We ended up having to go around, cost us another like 5 minutes. And these little things here and there, I got out of the car. I said thank you. Because at the end of the day, that's just who I am. I will say thank you. And I know the question you're probably asking, the question you probably have in your mind at this point is, did you complain to Uber? Did you tip? I'm not even gonna go into all of that. We're just gonna leave all of that out of the thing, because like that's not the focus here. I got out the car, said thank you, grabbed my bags and left. Got into the airport, caught my flight. Yay, praise God. But the point of that experience is that a paid service was delivered with such sloppy level of service, it was frankly embarrassing. Like it was sad. Because in my head I'm like, you're not doing me a favor. I'm paying you for this. And I started to think about how there's probably like I've probably been in hundreds of Uber rides, and it's sad to say that this one stands out because it's negative. But there's little things that you can do to improve, to be excellent at whatever it is that you do, right? And that whole experience. So here's that whole experience just got me thinking about how there is an opportunity for excellence in whatever it is that we do. And that's why I wanted to make this video, record this podcast, talk about this week, because it's crazy to me that people are out here doing things and putting in time and putting in effort in whatever it is that they're doing, and deciding not to do it excellently. Because I won't lie to you, I've been in other Uber rides where I thought the driver was doing the most, because he's like, "Hey, do you want a bottle of water? Do you want some gum?" He's like, "Hey, what music do you like? I could play it for you." And in my head, I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, chill." But you can contrast, you can compare both experiences, and you're like, on one end, like, bro, let's just put it this way: the Uber driver that asked for what my music preference was and gave me and offered to give me a bottle of water and some gum, some candy. Let's just say the tip was like half the ride, because the service was so excellently delivered. And that's what excellence does for you. Excellence, you know, it makes you exceptional. It makes you stand out. And a lack of excellence too can also make you stand out, but it will be for the wrong reasons. Excellence makes you exceptional in a crowd of people offering the same service. If you're trying to find a way to stand out, if you're trying to find a way to be special, if you're trying to find a way to make sure that people know who you are and the difference between you and others, one of the go-to things you can do is deliver the service a lot more excellently than other people are. I want you to think of a room of people. I want you to think about a crowded room, but everybody's whispering. Like it's a room filled with 1,000 people, but people are only whispering to each other. And then I want you to imagine that in a moment, somebody just gets up and shouts. That's kind of what excellence does for you. It in a sea of people, in a space of competitors, it will single you out. And this is actually also a business strategy, because a lot of people who don't want to necessarily start a business in a new field or to solve a new problem, they just go look at existing problems that the market for those problems is significant enough, is huge enough, and there's enough demand. They look at the players in that market, see what level of service they're delivering, and just decide, you know what, I'm just going to do it better. Like that is legit a strategy in business. And it applies to life too. If you can just be a lot more excellent at the things that you do, you will be exceptional. You will stand out. So excellence will make you stand out. The second thing that I want to point out is the fact that excellence can be applied to everything. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, excellence is not necessarily about you being the best. It's about you doing the best, with doing your best in whatever it is that you're doing. Like It's about you realizing that whatever is worth doing well. And this is not in a spirit of competition or in a spirit of comparison. It's much more in the spirit of continuous improvement. Like, this is something that I do, and if I'm going to do it, I should do it well, you know, and you improve on the iterations, you improve on the repetitions as you do whatever it is that you do. That is excellence as well. Like, excellence is you saying, you know what? Yes, I have a podcast that I record. Um, and I'm not just going to do it anyhow because it's something that I do and I don't have that many viewers or listeners, you know, or I have a business that I launched and yeah, I'm just gonna do it however I can because yeah, we don't yet have the traction that we're looking for. No, 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 no. Excellence is you essentially saying, you know what? We might not have the numbers that we want yet, but we're gonna start acting like we do now. And we're going to do it to the best of our ability based on the resources that we have, based on the talent that we have, based on what we know, based on who we know, based on the tools that we have, saying, I'm going to do the best with what I have. That is excellence. It's not some ridiculous standard of perfection that you're trying to aim for. No, 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 no. That will lead to burnout. Excellence is you saying, you know what? I will do my best in whatever it is that I'm doing. And I will continue to improve as I continue to do whatever it is that I'm doing. Third thing I wanted to point out is the fact that excellence doesn't always mean more money. I heard a great story the other day about a lady who sells I don't know if you know chin chin. Chin chin is a Nigerian snack, right? She sells chin chin and she had just launched a business selling chin chin and she just told a bunch of people, "Hey guys, I launched my business. I sell this now, blah 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 blah." And when they asked her for a sample, she just brought it in like a bag, just like any random bag, you know. And the people that she brought it to were like, "What? What is this? Why should I buy this from you? Why? Like, it doesn't look the part. It might even be it." And here's the kicker: it might actually be really delicious, but just because the packaging is off and it looks weird, people won't even take the time to like taste it because on the outside it's not excellently put together. And the person that was telling the story said how he had told her, "Hey, you need to go back, rebrand, find packaging that works, talk to somebody, just figure it out." She came back a couple of weeks later. She had put the chin chin in this sort of rebranded packaging. It looked like it was something that was like imported. Like, it looked crazy, and of course now everyone's going crazy for it. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, we wanna place a couple of orders. This looks really well done. They didn't even taste it yet, and unfortunately, that's the way the world works. Unfortunately, before people get to experience the content, before people get to experience what's inside the container, they're just judging by the looks from the outside. It's the same reason why, if you're a content creator, you're whatever it is that you're doing, if it doesn't look good visually, people won't even click to open it to say, "Hey, what is this guy talking about?" There's an element of excellence that is required to even get you to a place where people can actually experience what you have to offer. But if it's just named in a terrible way, if it's packaged in a terrible way, nobody pays attention to it. And I say this because a lot of people think that excellence requires money. Don't get me wrong, money is important, but there are some people who have money who are not excellent. So it's not necessarily that money equals excellence. No, excellence is intentional. And we'll get into all of that later on. But you have to find a way to look at whatever it is that you have in your hands, aka whatever it is that you're doing, and look for the opportunities to improve and look for the opportunities to be excellent at it. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend more money. Sometimes you might have to spend more money to upgrade your tools, to, upgrade your services and all that stuff. But sometimes it's as little as you changing the name of a business. Like, yeah. Okay, I'm going to take a shot at myself. My first business in Canada was called King's Consults. Terrible business name. And you know why it was terrible? Because it was a business that I had started to help students find housing. What does student housing have to do with King's Consults? Like, bruh, what is that? Like in hindsight, I cringe. I can't even just believe I just told all of you that. But in hindsight, I cringe because I'm like, bro, what is that? Why you? No, excellence will often mean also like cutting the fluff, like just doing what it is that you're doing, packaging it in the best way possible, so that the people who need the service, the people who need the product, can easily identify what it is and can come for it, right? So those are the things I want to sort of point out. Now let's walk into how we can practically do this. So here's step number one in terms of how to be practically excellent, how to be excellent in whatever it is that you're doing. I already alluded to this in earlier on, but here it is again. Focus on doing your best versus being the best. Two very distinct things, two very different things. A lot of times, a lot of people focus on being the best. And the sad part about that is it keeps the focus on other people. Whereas if you focus on doing your best, you keep the focus on yourself and improving yourself. Now, there's scenarios where it's better to focus on being the best because, that's the thing that keeps people motivated, for instance, in sports, right? But sometimes, like in business, being the best is not always the best thing to focus on. For instance, let's imagine a company that offers a software product as a service, and there's a competitor who offers a similar software service, but maybe there's some things that they don't do, that maybe they don't do equally as good as this other company. Now, instead of this company focusing on the competitor and trying to do everything that the competitor does well, doesn't it make more sense that they focus on themselves and the things that they do really well and double down on that? You get what I'm saying? It's a slight shift in perspective that helps you understand that rather than focusing on what other people are doing, look at what you have in your hands, what you're doing, and do it better. Improve on it. This is something I'm personally doing. Right now, we're in October 2025, and I am in 2026 mentally when it pertains to the podcast and the newsletter. Because for the last couple of weeks, I've been asking myself, it's a new year coming. How do we take this to the next level? What are some of the things that we have to do? How do I grow the many roads? How do I grow this into something that's significant in 2026? How do we grow the numbers? How do we grow the viewership? How do we grow the impact? How do we grow the value? How do we grow a team? These are questions I'm asking myself, not because I'm watching other podcast channels and their growth, but because I know that whatever it is that I have in my hands, aka the many roads, I'm supposed to improve on it. So excellence is not about outperforming others. That's not the focus. You will outperform others by being excellent, but the focus cannot be on outperforming others. The focus has to be on outperforming yourself, doing better, improving whatever it is that you have in your hands. The byproduct of that is that you will outperform others, right? So, it's like when you see athletes running, sprinters especially, the average sprinter will tell you that when they're running, they don't look to the sides to see where the other athletes are. Their eyes are fixed on the goal that they have. Their eyes are fixed on the finish line because that's where they have to get to. And you'll even hear things like, hey, if you are distracted while you're running, you can trip, you can fall because you look to the side. It's the same thing with running this race in life. You have to keep your eyes on the prize, keep your eyes on the finish line, and stop looking at what other people have going on. Like, no, look at what you have in your hands. Look at whatever it is that God has put in your hands. Do it to the best of your ability. Outperform the previous version of yourself. Outperform previous versions of what it is that you've done. And the byproduct of that is that you will outperform others, but that can't be the focus. The second thing I realized about excellence and being practical about excellence is that you have to be intentional about it. Nobody wins a marathon by just like signing up for it. They've never run a day in their lives. The last time they went to the gym was 5 years ago, and they're just like, I'm just gonna sign up for the marathon and then I'm gonna win. Like nobody can do that except you're like a superhuman or something. But You can't stumble into excellence. You can't stumble into it's not something you stumble into. Excellence is something that you have to be intentional about, which means you have to take the time to look for opportunities for excellence and take the time to be aware as well when those opportunities pop up. Maybe whatever you have a business that you're running, or you have something that you're starting, a community, whatever it is. Take a step back, look at whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe it's even just raising a family. Take a step back and look at whatever it is that you're doing and ask yourself, okay, how can I be excellent in this? What are the opportunities for improvement in this? What are the opportunities for excellence in this? Like, how can I find better ways of doing things? That's one of the questions I like to ask myself a lot about what is a better way to do this. And it doesn't always mean there's a better way, but at least it gets you thinking and it keeps your mind on the lookout such that eventually when something pops up, the dots connect. It's like with AI now, like with all the tools in AI, all the AI enabled tools is what I'd call them. Things that, maybe you were doing manually 2-3 months ago. There's somebody somewhere that starts a new software or develops a new tool or whatever it is, and all of a sudden they can automate a bunch of that work. Now, yes, 2-3 months ago that solution might not have existed, but because you've kept asking yourself the question and you're continuously on the lookout for solutions that can help with that, all of a sudden when that tool becomes available, when that solution becomes available, the dot connects. Like, hey, that's what I was thinking about. That's an opportunity right there. But you don't get into all of that if you're not intentional about being excellent. If you're not intentional about saying, you know what, I want to improve on everything that I'm doing. So excellence, you have to be intentional about it. The last practical step when it comes to how to practically live out excellence is that excellence requires repetition. Excellence is not a one and done. It's not I tried to fix that one time. Yeah, now it's done. I tried, to improve this one time. Oh, no, yeah, now it's done. No, excellence requires repetition because guess what? The world is changing at a quick and fast pace than you can keep up. And there's so much going on. And, like I heard recently this week, somebody was saying how a lot of these AI companies that are started, maybe there's a company that does something using AI as sort of like the back end of things. And essentially they are promoting their services saying, hey, you can use AI to do this, right? And then the bigger AI companies just release a new feature and it wipes out an entire company. Like one feature released by OpenAI, the people who make ChatGPT, for instance, will just wipe out a new startup that somebody started somewhere. Right? So the world is changing so fast. The world is changing so quick. There's so much development happening. There's so much introduction to like new technologies and new ways of doing things. And there's just so much happening. You can't afford to be the person that is acting like the excellence that requires for you to get the results that you desire will be a one and done. No, you're gonna have to apply pressure. pressure. You're gonna have to apply pressure. What that means is consistent foot on the pedal in terms of repetition, consistent showing up, consistent improving, like continuous. It has to be a cycle of improvement where you assess, you improve, you look for results, you assess again, you improve, you look for. It has to be a cycle of improvement. That's what it takes to be excellent. Nowadays, people want a one and done solution to things like, yeah, I just applied this, it worked, and now I'm done. I can take my hands off it. It's like this whole idea of passive income. So yeah, you put this here, and it just makes money for the rest of your life. Maybe that can work with some financial tools, but when it comes to other things in life, no. You have to continuously improve. You have to continuously find opportunities to improve. And this means that going back to what we had spoken about before, you're going to have to be intentional about it. You're going to have to be intentional about finding those opportunities and the repetition. the continuous repetition. That's what it takes to be excellent. And if you look at it from that perspective and from that standpoint, you start to realize that excellence is not a end goal. It's not a definite sort of destination. You can say right now I'm flying from Toronto to New York. That's a specific, definite destination. You're going from Toronto to New York. The journey of excellence, it doesn't have a destination in the sense that you keep going. And of course, you reap results as you go, you improve as you go, but the key is you have to keep going, right? And for some of us who are wired in such a way that we can't stop, like, it's exciting because you know what? It means I can improve on who I was and what I've done over the years, and I can keep getting better. That's exciting to me. And I hope that excites you as well, right? So just to reiterate, the long and short of all of this is excellence is not about perfection. It's about you doing the best with whatever it is that you're doing. It's not even about you trying to be the best, because by you improving yourself year in, year out, month in, month out, day in, day out, eventually you'll start to outperform others who are not. You can apply excellence to every part of your life, your work, your relationship, your mindsets, your businesses, everything. Excellence can be applied to it. And I want you to remember this: no one accidentally becomes excellent. It takes preparation, it takes repetition, it takes intentionality. So here's the challenge for the week. I want you to evaluate, I'm sure that as I was sort of talking in this podcast, there must have been a part of your life or something that you're doing that must have flashed across your mind. I want you to find opportunities this week in that thing to improve it. It could be something so small, something so little. So identify something that it is that you're doing, an aspect of it, and I want you to improve it this week. So here's the final word on all of this. When you come into excellence, you don't just stand out, you become unforgettable. And that's really the goal. Well, thanks for hanging with me on this episode of the Minerals Podcast. I would love for you to like, comment, subscribe. Like I said earlier in the video, if you're not subscribed, please do so. It's your free way of supporting all that we're doing here at the Minerals Podcast. Till next time, God bless.